Our friend Felix from Hanhart reached out with another embargo release. Today, we're looking at the 415 ES re-edition. Let's check it out. Today, I am wearing my Leonidas CP1 from about the same period as the Hanhart we're taking a look at. Late 60s. This one is the CP1, which is to say it's 38.5 millimeters in diameter. Issued to Italian Air Force pilots. Not sure what they were flying, whether it was helicopters or jets or whatnot. And the flyboys were like, no bene, too small. I should have looked that up in Italian. My Italian is a little bit rusty.
Magnifico! Molto bella, tutti frutti!
But the subsequent release is the CP2 at 43 millimeters. But they wanted a bigger watch, and then, so they got one. And then Heuer comes along and buys Leonidas, and I'm sure I'll get corrected if it's false, but I'm fairly certain Heuer copy-pasted a bunch of their designs, including this, because the CP2, the 43 millimeter version, would ultimately become the Heuer Bundeswehr 1550 SG watch. This was in service for Italy. Those watches were in service for Germany. And even downstream, even further, Zinn came out with their 156, 256, and 258. I have that. I have those watches. I have the 158, which is the modern one, and then I think the 256 is the older one. I'm gonna do a whole other episode about that. But the reason I wore this Leonidas is the Hanhart 415 ES, and ES stands for Edelstahl, which is a stainless steel, bears a striking resemblance in as much as it is also a 2-register chronograph with this unique bezel, and the Hanhart is 60 click, and it's got those gradations at the 15, 30, 45. And as soon as I saw it from Felix, I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear my Leonidas. That's about the closest approximation I have on hand to, scratch at the surface of it. They're roughly the same size. Not gonna be a watch wars. Gonna be more of a coming attractions episode. I don't like to do a review unless I've actually had the watch or I've got the watch in hand while I'm reviewing it. But I love getting these embargo releases where I get a sneak peek into the industry and get to share it with you day and date to the release. I find that eminently fun. So let's do a little bit of driving and yapping and get into this. On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. I do love the car episodes. Drop me a comment if you missed these. G-Money seemed to think I was using it as a bit of a crutch because all I was doing was car episodes. But I find that the driving relaxes my mind, and my main mind, the main portion of my coconut, is focusing on, oh, got someone on the run in front of me. Someone's late for Thanksgiving. Gosh, who is this? Jaguar drivers, what are you gonna do? Anyway, my main mind is focused on the driving, which can be mundane, and it frees up my frontal cortex to get super creative with watch yapping. I don't know, maybe a little bit creative, but having a bit of fun. And this is only gonna be partially in the car. I'm gonna do my in studio on deck when I get into the deets of this little beauty from Hanhart. Kind of cool, and it is funny how it came out at roughly about the same time as this Leonidas I'm wearing. Now this Leonidas has got a Valjoux 222 flyback chronograph movement, but the closest I'm going to get to the deuces. And whereas the Hanhart has the Sellita 510. Sellita makes amazing movements. Love me some Sellita, but this one I wouldn't take anywhere near the dishes or a sink, but the Hanhart has got 100 meters water resistance and pretty cool. And I think the main focus or main distinguishing factor about the Hanhart is it's the revival of the wing logo. If you look at the H, zoom up in there, you'll see it's the wing logo. They've not used that in about over 40 years thereabouts. And pretty cool and part of their history. And I think the wing logo come along at a time when they were looking to modernize back in the day. And I don't know, I love the vintage stuff, Hanhart. You know I love your vintage stuff. So yeah, kind of a neat piece. And if you're in the market for a 2-register chronograph, and for some reason the Steve McQueen 417 doesn't appeal, this bezel has added value because it's got the indices going around it. And maybe you might get a little more value out of that type of configuration. So it might be one to check out. Links in the below. If you're in North America, watchbuys.com. Shout out to those guys. I got at least 2 of my Hanharts, no, actually 3 Hanharts from them over the years. Fabulous service. If you are in other parts, Hanhart.com, and then you can navigate to a distributor and sort that out. I think at this point it makes more sense to get in the studio, get on deck, and get up in its business. The 415 ES was first presented in the mid-60s and in various configurations. Hanhart introduced 2 firsts for themselves, the bidirectional bezel with minute markings and the striking sporty wing logo. This model has both a tachymeter scale around the track plus a 100 scale in red, just slightly more inwards. Using this scale, 1 minute is divided into 100 units, something important in both industrial and technical applications. Here we have the case back, and that I really love that bezel. I have it on a couple of my Zinn watches. I have it on the Leonidas, of course. And the case back, fairly simple. It does have the raised relief of the Hanhart wing logo, which is kind of cool. And we can see it's stamped on the case back, 10 atmospheres, so 100 meters of water resistance. Let's put some numbers up on the board. Looking at a brilliant 39 millimeters, keeping in line with the original. Very polite 46 millimeters. Once I get this on loan, should fit my 6.5-inch wrist rather well. 13.5 millimeters, more or less a standard height for most modern chronographs. And thankfully, 20 millimeters at the lug, none of that UGG width business. Already mentioned the water resistance. Of course, we got sapphire. But that Sellita SW510 is giving you a minimum of 58 hours. On the rating for that movement, it ranges, 58 is somewhere in the middle of its range, sometimes getting more. And that's a fairly robust chronograph. Here we have, Hanhart 2-register chronos are epically good. We know that with the other ones I've shared on the channel, particularly those 417s. Historically, love those. And here's a loom shot. Fairly bright, having the numerals and indices hands lit up. And Hanhart does loom fairly well. I have to say, whatever strap you end up getting this on, you're going to love it. Hanhart leather straps, whether it's this one rivet style or however many other ones they have, epically good leather. And you even have the wing logo on the crown, which is pretty cool as well. I think that on this model's wrist, it looks fairly good, and looks like it would indeed slip under that cuff. Gorgeous, Felix. Well done, sir. Yeah, there are a couple of the other straps. I don't know, for me, when I wear my Hanhart watches, if I'm not putting it on a bund, I'm definitely going to have it on a rivet strap, or maybe something nice from channel trusted supplier, 2stitchstraps.com. Love those straps. Shout out to you, Ivan. Hope you guys are doing well. All right, here are the official DIMs on the sheet from Hanhart. I'll leave this up on screen in case you want to take a screen grab. We've covered most of this here. The ceramic bezel is bi-directional. Gosh, I love that crown logo. The price, you have to back out the 19% VAT, coming in a bit hot, but at least you're getting high quality with Hanhart, especially with that Sellita power reserve of at least 58 hours. If you're going to be buying this in the US, North America, you're looking at watchbuys.com. Shout out to them. They are amazing. If you're parts elsewhere, go to the Hanhart.com website, and they'll be able to navigate you to a reseller in your region. And one last look of this little beauty. Felix, I need to borrow this watch. I need to get it on wrist as soon as possible, sir. Would love to check it out. All right, let's jump back into the ride. There we have it. Felix and team up to it again, releasing cool watches. Again, these embargo episodes aren't really, they're definitely not a review, and very little opinion, in as much as you need to have the watch with you in order to get a true understanding of it, of whether or not you dig it. But it's just kind of fun to share, and I'm grateful to Felix and Hanhart and the other producers, manufacturers who are starting to share their embargoed materials with me, so I can be a part of the game and share some of the fun and get the word out there. Like I said, it's coming attractions as opposed to a review. Uh-oh. Go get them, boys. Got an ambulance vehicle passing me. Always want to cheer those guys on, those women on, because they're doing a tough job. Actually, today as I'm shooting it, it's Thanksgiving. I'm racing over to my brother's joint. Gonna have some bird, some gobble, gobble, gobble. And by the time this episode airs, I think it's midweek next week. So if you're in the U.S., hope that you had a good Thanksgiving. And want to say big thank you to Felix at Hanhart for entrusting me with their embargo materials. If you have any questions about this watch, drop me a line, hit me up downstairs, and I'll either be able to, get you that info, or maybe connect you directly with Felix to get you sorted out, and if you're wanting to make a purchase. I shall now bid you a fine farewell. Hope that wherever you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, that you are indeed doing well and that you're blessed. All right, we will catch you in the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the channel, head over to hobbyofhours.com. We've got artwork, coffee mugs, hats, t-shirts, and even a watch book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. Over 1,000 designs in here. Steampunk, super futuristic, kaleidoscope, even super real ones. Watches that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a great way to support the channel. Thanks for coming along on the ride. Extra credit. I love vintage Hanhart, even though I've got the Vixa, even though I've got the modern 417 ES Red Lion. Shout out TGV, what up? Love those pieces. I still cruise for vintage Hanhart. I'm still going to probably buy the Hanhart 417 ES from back in the day, the actual Steve McQueen watch, even though that Vixa Type 20 all day long is that watch, 95%. There was only like 500 of them made. But anyways, I love vintage Hanhart. And one of the funnier pieces that shows up periodically is a bit of spycraft. There is a Hanhart watch, cream dial. I don't know if it was ever white, but it's more or less cream colored now. But it's a spy microphone. And it looks like a watch, but it doesn't function as a watch. And on the left side, the opposite crown side, is a jack for you to put a cable into it, like a full-size 1/8" cable, right? It's not small, like you would use from old school headphones. And then you run that line up your sleeve into your coat pocket, where it plugs into some sort of recording device. Whether I don't know, they didn't have cassette tapes back then. Who knows what that was running into? Like a whole reel-to-reel recording setup in your jacket. And I'm just trying to picture if anyone used it and to what efficacy, because all the bad guys have to do to check you for a wire is, hey buddy, can you roll up your sleeve real quick? Or what time is it? How come your watch ain't running? But these show up anywhere from, on the low end, I've seen them around $450, $500. On the high end, $1,200, $1,400. Again, not a watch, but a bit of fun. In fact, I think I'm gonna get one and see if that line out will go straight into my phone and see if I can record conversations that way. Not that I would do it for any purpose other than a spot of fun and a bit of spycraft, but I thought you might enjoy that as a little bit of a bookend on this episode.